Yo, 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 what's up, folks? Check one, check one. All right. I have my phone propped up in a very odd way right now, but I am testing out again the vertical streaming option, which is new on YouTube. It's badass, to be honest. Now, let me adjust this. Perfect. Or is it? I have my Canucks jersey on tonight because my Canucks are playing. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Just going to double check the stream here, share it with my Discord peeps. Feel free to drop any questions for me in the comment section here. Why do you hate Jordan Peterson? I don't hate Jordan Peterson. All right, shared with Discord. Now let's pull the stream up. I'm going to see how I can do this vertical streaming from the office using my Samsung phone. This vertical streaming from the office using my Samsung phone. Okay, there. We good. Now can I pull up the... Okay, good. Now I can pull up comments here. Perfect. So what's shaking, everyone? We are a couple months away from our next live discussion, which will be between Alex O'Connor and Dinesh D'Souza. The topic is the Bible true? What do you guys think? Let me know. Do you think the Bible is true in any way? And think about how you assess what is true and what you mean by that. And then what kind of truth are you calling upon to add any value to claims that are made in the Bible? Cosmic Origin says, being a Canucks fan is like believing in the Bible. It takes real faith. I actually will agree with that. The closest thing I have to a religion is the Vancouver Canucks or hockey. Hockey culture would be my religion for sure. If my family had any religion, it's probably hockey. You know, people get together, they cheer for your team. Oh, you know, you'll say things like, someone will be like, oh, the Canucks are going to tank in the playoffs. And you'll kind of look at them and say, you know, you show little faith in our team, you know. So it is a very religious endeavor. But yeah, Vancouver Canucks, this is the year, baby. See how my eyes got wide open and there was a glazed over look in my eyes? Yeah, that's me as a Canucks fan. But yeah, GSP says, you are pretty woke, Travis. That's your religion also. Am I woke? Really? Okay, everyone, let's test GSP's claims. Go to the Pangburn YouTube channel. Go to all the things I've ever said online. And I'm expecting you to do this in the next like 30 seconds. So get to it. But let's see if GSP is right in thinking that I'm woke. Ask me any question, GSP, and I will answer it. And everyone can assess whether I'm woke or not. We got 68 of you in the room. If all of you could quickly do something amazing for me and tap that like button just this one time, that would be wicked. I really want to test out to see what the legs are like on this new vertical streaming option we have on YouTube. Can men get pregnant? Well, it depends on what you mean by men, or can, or men, or get. You're not wrestling with the damn thing. But yeah, like, you know, like with language, it does depend on what you mean by language always. Now, in the culture, men currently has two common usages. One, of course, more common usage being that man or men is synonymous with male. So in that sense, of course, males cannot get pregnant. But there is another common usage that has been born out of new scientific delineations between gender and sex in the scientific literature. And if you mean it by that, then sure, someone could identify as, a man and become pregnant because they're a biological female. Much more rare case, the latter. But there are ways of talking about these things where you don't have to be so separatist. If anyone belongs to what I call the cult of unchanging language, you should leave that cult. Language changes, any labels can change, including scientific labels or things that you hold dear to your heart. A lot of Christians out there still won't accept that it truly is a marriage between, let's say, two males and two females that get married with one another. They won't call that marriage, even though, the majority of people would call that marriage. So, nuance is important. Understanding that especially matters of semantics and philosophy are not black and white issues in almost all cases. So it's okay not to get triggered by, they said a man can get pregnant. Well, if you adopt that usage, then yes, a man can get pregnant. But of course, males cannot get pregnant. That's why when I'm in conversations about man or woman, I kind of steer the ship into using the label male or female. And then people go, I said man. And then I say, yeah, but I said male. I thought you said they were the same thing. Let me get to some of your other questions here. CNCV says, nice dislike button there too. Yeah, you can pound the dislike button, just like I pound Jordan Peterson. Oh, no. And people always ask me, do you hate Jordan Peterson? Because I release polarizing content about Jordan Peterson. No, Jordan Peterson's a good enough guy. Him and I disagree on a lot, a lot, especially in recent days when he's let his political attitudes known. But he has got to be one of the most polarizing people in human history, I swear, or at least let's just say in the past 50 years. And I like to make polarizing content about polarizing people. So that's why you'll see some interesting AI art in our thumbnails come out that I love doing. I love creating the art. And and I like having conversations around who the popular intellectuals of the age are. And that's why we got a lot of Douglas Murray content coming out, because he's exploding around the internet. He's being touted as the champion of Western ideas, and I think that's cool. I like Douglas too. I like Sam Harris. I like all the people that I've worked with and feature on the channel. So rock and roll. Make sure you guys smash that like button, even if you don't agree with my opinions. At least smash the like button for my new Vancouver Canucks hat, even if you hate the Canucks. Unless you too are part of the religion of hockey, I will understand if you don't hit that thumbs up button. Hating Jordan, critiques of Jordan Peterson or disagreeing with Jordan Peterson or teasing Jordan Peterson does not mean you hate Jordan Peterson. I like to tease Jordan. You'll see some of my shorts where I tease him, and I make fun of his voice because, your daughter, she gets a podcast, and then she starts eating meat, and you're like, damn, I created that, but it's not because I hate Jordan. I just like, I like teasing my friends. I like teasing people that I like. Definitely teasing. Anthony says, God bless you. Take your God and shove it up your ass. No. I don't. For those of you who don't know, I'm an atheist. I lack a belief in God, but I don't get all triggered if someone believes in God or if someone's like, "God bless you." I'm like, "Cool, thanks, dude." Again, I see too many people in the atheist community being like, that's an attack on me when you say God bless you when I'm an atheist. It's like, no, that people who respond that way need to adopt one of my most important Pangburn maxims, which is refining and maximizing your lightheartedness. Lightheartedness is one of the most important things, especially if you want to engage in the war of ideas. You got to be lighthearted. You got to be able to take it on the chin. You got to be willing to say, I could be wrong about this. Like, fallibilism. These are important things. Entropy says, why is there so many questions related to Islam on this channel? I don't judge anything. I'm just curious. Love your content you put up. Well, Islam is a hot topic right now with what's going on in Israel and Palestine conflict. There are religious overtones to what's going on over in the Middle East, and Islam is the central focus to anyone that's interested in the underlying ideologies that fuel a lot of what people think is right and wrong and good and bad. So that's why so much about Islam right now. If you go back like maybe 100 videos, I know that sounds like a lot, but we produce a lot of videos. Like I'll put out 1 or 2 videos a day. But if you go back, you'll see that there's a long stretch of us, covering Christianity. And people say, why cover religion? Well, religion is at the core of what people think is, or what drives people to think certain things to be good and bad. And inevitably, in the war of ideas, we come into contact with religion all the time because we end up covering ethics in many conversations that we have. In science, we're dealing with ways to describe the world, descriptive claims, but once we start getting over into ethics, we're dealing with prescriptions. Now, some people think you can get an ought from an is. I don't think so, but that's always a contention and a grounds for great conversation. Let's see. Infidel says, it's 2024. You're not allowed to recognize nuance. Yeah, you're right. I should be burned at the stake for that. You see how Travis never defined a man or a woman? Actually, I just did. You can go. You can check the tape on that. King Solomon says, I can identify as anything. That changes nothing. I am what I am. No, it changes what you identify as. That's like saying, I can name myself Trevor. That changes nothing. I am what I am. Well, it changes your name. No one is saying that it changes anything outside of that. So, yeah. Check yourself. Pretty good. Peterson impersonation. Infidel says, I am from Philly. If you get a like, it's not Canucks related. We don't humor people. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you guys, if I'm remembering correctly, is Tortorella coaching for you guys right now? I think he is. Drop a like for cookies. If you like cookies, drop a like. If you like Douglas Murray, drop a like. If you like Sam Harris, drop a like. If you like Jordan Peterson, drop a like. If you like Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic, drop a like. He's going to be featured in our next event in New York City, June 1st. He's going head-to-head with seasoned, some would say champion, Dinesh D'Souza. So coming full circle maybe for Alex O'Connor in his quest to kind of become the next Christopher Hitchens. Hitchens, of course, went head-to-head with Dinesh D'Souza, I think multiple times, at least multiple times in private. And those guys were pretty good pals, Dinesh and Hitchens. I never had a chance to work with Hitchens, but I really like him. I think he was, of course, not infallible like many people tout Hitchens out in the atheist community in his argumentation. Like, I agree with a lot of the things that Alex points out, by the way, with regards to some of Christopher Hitchens' arguments. One of the things is Hitchens would always appeal to this idea of like, look how stupid God is for wanting this kind of reality. It's like, fine, you could say that. It's just your values against God's values. So yeah, you wouldn't build it this way, but that's not really a defeating argument for whether or not God exists. So sometimes that stuff would come up, which is fine. It was part of Hitchens' theater and getting the crowd going, but he had a way about it that is sorely missed by me. Amazing says, have you ever discussed more academic philosophers or just pop philosophers? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If you go to we had Stephen Hicks on recently. We had the name's escaping me. Let me pull it up right now. We had and I fucking love this guy, by the way. It's just sometimes I'm bad with names. We had Susan Wolf, who's written on morality and action, and she's good. We've had Dr. Lee Cronin, who uh, talks about the philosophy of digital chemistry, which is cool. You guys can find these conversations. They're less popular because the more academic philosophical topics are less popular topics. Somewhat unfortunately, I guess. Some of that stuff is harder to follow. We had yes, Bernardo Kastrup. Now, Bernardo Kastrup is a very interesting thinker. We talked about AI consciousness. We had Scott Barry Kaufman talking about intelligence recently. Yeah, so we've had a lot. We had Dr. Stephen Keen come on. So for those of you who don't know, if you haven't joined the our Discord server, so our Discord server is a place that everyone intermingles and has conversations all day, every day, and you can jump into one. It's all free. Our Discord server is linked at the top of our channel, and we invite PhDs and professors, philosophers, scientists, all the time, and we're having conversations constantly with them. And you can engage in Q&As with them, come into contact with them, even share your work, share emails with them. And that all happens on our Discord server. So please join our Discord server. Actually, I'll drop you guys a link very quickly here. And if you scroll to the top of our Discord server, you will see who is booked and coming up. Like right now, well, let me drop the link first for you guys. And this is all free, by the way, free education for anyone that's interested in interacting with PhDs and academics. Let's see who we have coming up here. Weekly schedule. We have Jack Symes, James Sexton, and Ben Miles coming up. So, for example, let's look at Jack Symes, and that's going to be led by one of our beautiful broadcasters, Tart Vader, who's a brilliant young philosophical mind that you guys, if you have a chance, head over and check out his Pangburn Universe YouTube channel, which is linked to our YouTube channels here. We have a team of about 20 broadcasters who have their own franchised Pangburn Universe channels. Jack talks about the philosophy of music and art. So they're really going to be getting to aesthetics in that conversation, and that's one of my favorite topics in philosophy. Please take a second to drop a like. That would be great. GSP says, I identify as the guy who started Pangburn philosophy. Well, there you go. I'm happy for you. I'll try to remember to use those pronouns when I come into contact with you. Let's see what else you got. Peterson pretends that it's an open question whether or not the Nazis were right wing. Total clown. Yeah, I think that's a really bad understanding of political philosophy to think that the Nazis weren't right wing. The Nazis were right wing. Almost everything about them was right wing. We're not going to go through that complete analysis. We had a long 4-hour discussion on this on call-in, and actually I think we had a shorter conversation led by Don, who's one of our amazing broadcasters and producers at Pangburn. He'll actually be there June 1st in New York City for our next event. I got to meet Don in person last time we were there, and he's just a beautiful person, and he does so much for the community, and he's fucking brilliant. Like, the world needs to hear more from Don. But yeah, obviously there are people that still argue out there that somehow that the Nazis were left wing, but it's just not the case. And people have simplistic arguments like, look, their party was the Nationalist Socialist Party. It's like no, dude. Those kinds of labels flip-flop throughout history. So yeah, lots of academics coming in to speak at Pangburn. Those aren't as popular on YouTube, those conversations, but I hope to help make them more popular in the future, because I really do think there's a lot of software upgrading for all of us to be had by engaging with the more rigorous academic philosophical inquiries that are going on, and new papers are being dropped all the time in philosophy. It's just not like, oh, we discovered a new species of frog. It's like, did I just turn into a frog there? No, it's not like that in philosophy. It's much more delicate and unexpected in a softer way. It's not I don't know. Yeah, it's some things. A lot of it is a lot of the new papers are really much tied into the philosophy of semantics, how we conceptualize things, how we categorize concepts. If I'd seen you in a gay bar in '04, I'd have taken you straight home. Oh, Will, thank you very much. I don't happen to be gay as far as I know. Maybe that'll change in the future, but my wife might have something to say about that if you took me home. If you GSP, I want to know from GSP. GSP is becoming like the anti-Pangburn, which I kind of love. We got to have an anti-Pangburn out there. GSP says, if you hate Matt Dillahunty, drop a like. Why do you hate Matt Dillahunty? I get it if you don't agree with maybe his minimum requirements for fruitful dialectic, like he yells at people, tells them to shut up. I don't think that's good. I think that one's minimum requirements for fruitful dialectic should be good faith, meaning sincerity of intentions, and helpfulness. Those two things, if you can master those two things, it's really going to improve your life. Not just your dialogues with people, which is a big part of your life anyway, but just everything, your relationships, your listening skills. If you bring sincerity of intention instead of some like overarching goal of what you want to extract from that person, and you just sincerely throw yourself into, a good faith interaction, I think that's going to do really well for you in life. And helpfulness is something adults really struggle with. I notice it's like we're demanded to do it when we're in high school or when we're in middle school or when we're in kindergarten. We're demanded to be helpful, but then when we get onto the real world, I think some people forget how to be helpful to one another. And what does that look like in a dialectic? Well, if you have an opportunity to totally jump on a mistake your interlocutor made and squash them in front of the audience, you reach out a hand and help them out of it. Why would I do that? They're my debate partner. Like, I got to crush them. No, man. Reach your hand out. Help them up. Help them out of the hole they found themselves in. That, when I look at my favorite interlocutors in history, and Hitchens was really good at this. A lot of people would think, oh, Hitchens wasn't helpful. He liked to dunk on people. No, not so much. Look at his back and forth dialogues with people. He would never strawman somebody or try to make it look like somebody didn't know something that they did know, but they might have slightly misspoken. He was not like that. So the best interlocutors out there are people that are understand that sometimes we might say the wrong thing or get something completely backwards or mixed up, and you might reach out a helping hand instead of like, oh, I think you meant that, instead of the other thing, instead of just letting it hang, right? And then making a video about it later and being like, see, he thinks the opposite of what's true. Hey, it's like, hey. But yeah, you don't need to hate those people. We need less hate. You don't need to hate someone you disagree with or if they engage in dialectical behavior that you detest. I think it's good to point that stuff out. I think it's good to critique it. It's good to tease about it. Refining our comicality. That's one of my maxims. Refining our sense of humor. This is a really important thing, and I think it's very therapeutic for us to be open with our comedic nature, laughing more about all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna try, Sharon, to get to as many questions as I can. I'm just scrolling down the list here. Locked on Law says, if you hate everyone and everything, drop a like. Well, if you hate everyone and everything, I would suggest that you probably have adjusted, or you've probably robbed the concept of its let's say, original intention. of what that concept was attempting to abstract, the meaning it was intended. Yeah. Hate is different than feeling, frustrated with the world. Infidel finally joined Discord. Yeah, you guys joined Discord. Discord's awesome. We run a really tight ship. We have a lot of great administrators. The rules are you have to engage in good faith and be helpful. And that we've created a tight, long-lasting community for anyone that can survive the rules. And we have a really good crowd there. And you can always send me a DM if you have any issues or anything like that on Discord. Happy to help wherever I can. Sharon Hill says, Matt Walsh, what is a woman? Well, Matt Walsh is one of those guys who seems to belong to the cult of unchanging language that I referenced earlier. He thinks that like woman or man can only mean one thing. He doesn't address when he's speaking, what's going on in the language of the culture today. That's why when someone ever asks me, what is a woman? I'll say, well, today there are two common usages of what a woman is. And I said, like I said before, one, woman synonymous with female, and the other usage being a gender identity. And I point that out because people do mean different things. And it's popular enough, this difference of language, to cause a lot of political discussion and for it to be reaching the highest offices in politics. So, GSP says, even Dawkins agrees with Matt Walsh. Yeah, Dawkins is another person that belongs to the cult of unchanging language when it comes to this thing, which is interesting because Richard has always been someone that has updated his language based on the newest, most up-to-date what's in our scientific journals, the newest, most up-to-date studies in human biology and how we talk about, like the semantical issues of how we talk about, the difference between woman and female, which is something that if you look at any contemporary papers on these topics of gender and sex, you're going to see that delineation. And Richard used to kind of allude to that, but in the last couple of years, he's kind of shifted to this hard-nosed idea about like this means this and that means that, which that's fine, and we don't all have to agree on everything. GSP says, Travis, you could identify as gay. It's like, yeah, but I'm not a liar, right? Like people could identify with whatever. Like people say that all the time. It's like, oh, you could identify as this just to get this thing. It's like, well, yeah, we might have some people do that. There are liars out there, right? But I think it's important to, like good faith. This is where good faith comes in. I think these are good life maxims to engage in good faith, which by good faith, I mean sincerity of intention. That's what you're going to see if you look up what good faith is in most dictionaries outlining different phrases, and being helpful. And most people went to kindergarten, so they know what helpfulness is. I will... The Lucanator says, I will listen to nobody who wears a Vancouver jersey. Canuck detection opinion rejected. Look, I get it. Canucks fans, we are mostly douches. I don't think I'm a douche. Well, sometimes I'm a douche. But I try not to be a douche. And but Canucks are winning the cup this year, so you can suck it. Hiya from Tennessee. What up, Angela? Treating people like trash and telling women to shut the F up, calling them dumbasses, that's why. Yeah, I get it. Matt shouldn't be doing that. I assume you're talking about Matt. Yeah, he shouldn't be doing that. I don't know why you say telling women to shut up. It's kind of, or telling women to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's good. Matt shouldn't do that. Other people shouldn't do that. It shouldn't. I don't know why you outlined just women there, but okay. Canucks are greater than the Nordiques. Well, the Nordiques don't exist anymore, so yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get through all this. GSP, I was trying to trigger you. It's all good. Matt is an abrasive atheist. Why is this live in the shorts? Okay, this is a new cool feature that YouTube added. We can do live streams in the short feed, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm just testing it out. I tested it out once, but when I published it, it published as a regular video. I don't know if that was a glitch or that's what it's going to be moving forward, but I guess we'll see after I publish this one or after I finish this stream. Locked on Law says, I think hating someone you know jack fuck about is your problem, not Dillahunty's. Yeah, I agree. Like when people see people on the internet and they say things that they disagree with and they're like, I hate that person. Like the person is more than just what you might have heard in a short clip on YouTube or in a live stream or someone talking about an idea that they're very passionate about and maybe lack patience about or something like that. Just remind yourself of that. Like we have enough hate out there. I think all of us here could probably agree that we have enough hate out there, and hate probably isn't the right word of describing how we feel about people we disagree with. That's what I would suggest. GSP says, Travis, can I get on your show? Put me up there on your show. Yeah, we can have a chat sometime. That would be cool. DM me on Discord. Anon says, would you say Pangburn has a left-right leaning, or would you just consider it in favor of the truth? So Pangburn itself is different than Travis Pangburn, who I am. So I try to separate those things the best that I can. In the future, it'll probably be more so because soon there'll be a Travis Pangburn channel, and then there'll be Pangburn, and those things will be separate. But the Pangburn is supposed to be a conversation platform that is governed by the laws of good faith and helpfulness. So good faith, again, meaning sincerity of intentions, and helpfulness. I gave some examples of what helpfulness is, but most people know what help looks like. So there is no ideological bent beyond that. There is, because of the nature of YouTube, there is this phenomena of needing to put out videos that are going to be of interest to your current subscriber base. So I need to consider that when I put out new videos, but the videos aren't being put out to try to politically to win political points for anything or ideological points for anything. That if you see a stream of videos that seem to have a bit of a leaning towards a certain topic, that's because we also need to take into consideration what the YouTube algorithm is going to give points to, which will if we don't do that, the channel will never grow. So that's when you see a bit of a trend happening, that's what that's all about. I wish I wish the algorithm wasn't that way, but I also understand why it is. I think the YouTube algorithm does a really good job, but it does have you sometimes it feels like, oh, I'd love to post this next video, but it's not going to get shown to anyone. Or for example, if I put out a video of Jordan Peterson owns woke idiot or something like that, because of how the current subscribership base, a lot of people are not going to click on that in our channel. I would love to put out some videos like that, but it's it's just difficult. YouTube does kind of niche you in a little bit. I don't like that, but I also do look for opportunities when certain things are happening to jump into that new section for the audience so that they don't get too run down with too much, let's say, Douglas Murray or Sam Harris or whatever. DRG, thank you very much for the comment. GSP says, I like you, Travis. Seem like a good guy, even though I disagree with you. Get me some tickets to your show. So demanding. Yeah, I mean, GSP, if you showed up and you were at the front for one of our shows and you were like, tell Travis GSP is here, I'm probably going to give you a ticket. Like, now everyone's going to show up saying that. I'm going to have to make a rule. But I hope you got, okay, you guys, I am going to say this too. All of our live events moving forward, and I say all unless something happens where it can't happen for some kind of reason relating to the venue or whatever. But the plan is to have all of our live discussions freely live streamed on our channel for everyone, which means it would be great for those of you that really value this channel to sign up. Click the join button and sign up as a official channel member. I think it's $4 a month, and it just really helps out with everything we're doing. Right now, all of the YouTube revenue that's generated goes directly into supplying funds for the next event. So right now, it's like literally every penny at the end of the month is like pumping up that account. But yeah, we're covered for D'Souza versus Alex O'Connor. Everything's good. It's a go. It's a big investment. It's about, a $50,000 event, US. But let's just say I've eaten a lot of spaghetti recently. No, but I'm pumped for it. It's going to be a legendary event that lives on through the ages, just like Dillahunty D'Souza, or I would suggest even like this one's going to be, I think, bigger than that. It's going to be at the level of Peterson Harris, I think, or close to that. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Let's see what else we got here. I'm also going to do these live streams. It's part of my amazing assistant Felicia is going to take this and chop it into little shorts for the channel, and we'll get stuff out there. So if you ever do have a question that you ask, it's probably going to get cut into a short, which is cool. I'll do some call-in programs as well at some point on here. Then you guys can just like click a link and be connected with me in EVMux or whatever software we use for that, and we can chat. Sharon Hill says, do you know anything about Tommy Robinson? No, I don't. Who's Tommy Robinson? GSP says, are you doing any shows in Washington, D.C.? I still haven't done anything in Washington, D.C., but I will, I'll think about it. There's going to be, I'm thinking of doing a string of kind of like some smaller events. We have a really nice venue lined up in Colorado. It's really cost effective to do events in some different states. Like Colorado, this one venue we're looking at is like, it's like $300 for the day to rent. And like in New York, this venue that we're renting for O'Connor versus D'Souza is $4,500 for 4 hours, attached to Lehman College. So yeah, we're going to find some more economical places to do events, and and get some more speakers in the Pangburn mix. I want to work with some more people, get them live on stage, and of course, being live on stage in front of an audience is a completely different animal. As those of you who know, you watch like the podcast conversations that Lex Friedman puts on. Like those are cool, but they lack the what we call in theater the fourth wall, the audience, the accountability of the audience being there live in front of them, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. No saying cut. This is live. Well, it's live theater, but obviously it's intellectual discourse. Hey, Sean, Welcome from Scotland. Trent Horn. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that, GSP. That's cool. That's cool. What else do I have to get done today? My Canucks are on in 3.5 hours. Go Canucks, go, baby. I do eventually want to do at least once a week do sports on a Pangburn sports channel, because I love sports. I grew up playing hockey, baseball. I was a pitcher, and I mean I've been to some live soccer games, or football as you overseas folks call it. I mean, I just love sports. I love playing sports. Best hockey player of all time. Now that's a very difficult question. If we're talking goal scoring, Ovechkin is about to break Gretzky's goal scoring record. He needs, I think, 49 more goals, and he's going to break his record. If we're talking skill, all-round skill, you have to say Connor McDavid at this point. The game is way faster, way more skilled than it's ever been, and Connor McDavid is, I think, the most skilled player to ever play the game. He's playing for Edmonton right now, for those of you who don't know hockey. Gretzky, obviously, I don't think his point totals will ever be, like his total points will ever be broken, that record. It's just absurd. He's got twice as many assists as he has goals in his record. I used to say the best player of all time was Mario Lemieux, but Mario Lemieux was very he was what I don't want to say trendy, but he was streaky. And Ovechkin's going to go down as the best goal scorer in history once he breaks Gretzky's record. So, I mean, it's Ovi, man. He's the best. He's got to break the record, and of course, like, obviously people talk about how bad the goalies were during Gretzky's era and Lemieux's era, and that's true. And then on the other hand, Gretzky, other people say that, like, well, they never got to use composite sticks. They were just using wood sticks, or the infamous aluminum stick that they came out with for Gretzky. But I don't know. I don't think, if you watch highlights of Gretzky from back in the day, everyone today can do what Gretzky can do. GSP says, what did you do for a living before this? So the last job I had before going full-time with Pangburn was I was director of production for a theater company that operates out of Stanley Park in Vancouver, called Theater Under the Stars. And I loved the job. It was a lot of fun. Like, it's an outdoor theater. If you guys look up right now, Malkin Bowl, Malkin Bowl, it's a historic site that we would run musical theater productions out of for tourists and locals in the summer season. So it was like a summer theater program with some professional performers and some amateurs. So it's kind of like a school, like a summer school. So yeah, and I was director of production for that, and it was really cool because I got to work with Live Nation a lot. I did a Snoop Dogg show there where I got to meet Snoop Dogg, and who was cool, and I got to hang out with Snoop Dogg's like main bodyguard, who was really, really cool guy, like such a wise person and massive mammoth of a man, and you watched your step and what you said around him for sure. But I remember, yes, Snoop Dogg's crew coming in. That was really cool. I remember the police. We had to have like 10 police officers there. It was like I think we had about 5,000 people inside that venue, and the Vancouver Police Department demanded that we had like 10 or 12. It might have even been 15 armed officers for that event, which was really stupid because if like a country music group came in, um, there would be like no demands for police, but there was always way more fights and violence at that event than there was for the Snoop Dogg event because of course everyone's just smoking ganja down near the front of the stage and completely chilled out and just enjoying the music. So I I was kind of shocked by that, how people reacted to like, oh, if it's going to be rap music, we better look out. One thing cool about Travis Scott, this was before Travis Scott really blew up, the rapper. He came down to open for, he might have opened for Snoop Dogg actually. Um, and he was out there and not many people knew who he was. But that fucking guy, he climbed one of the towers off the edge of the stage. And this is an outdoor theater with temporary scaffold towers in place to hold lighting and rigging and different things. And he just put his mic down and started climbing that in the middle of his performance. And I got this call from on my radio being like we have a problem. This is coming from front of house, which is like where the main sound console is. And I went down there, and this guy's climbing up to the top, and it's like, I would say it's probably 40 feet to the top, something like that. I can't remember for sure, but he climbed like 40 feet to the top, and he was sitting up there. I was like, is he gonna jump in? I thought he was gonna do a stage dive from that high, which he would have just cratered into the ground. It was soft grass he would be landing on, but still, he's dead if he jumped, or he might kill someone else. So I had them stop the music, and we talked. I think he had in-ear monitors in, and I told his, or I think it was the guy at the sound desk. I was like, you got to tell him to get down, and he came down. It was in the middle of the song, and everyone booed, and I don't know if they knew where that was coming from, but I remember people were pissed. And then he came down, started back up again. He started his next song or whatever. People were freaking out. You know, he's a very smart guy because everyone's taking videos of this, of him with scaffold, posting it all over social media. Like, this guy's insane, Travis Scott. You know, like, that's how you do it, man. It's like marketing. But anyways, he did this. Then he comes down and does his next song. And as part of his like celebration for his next song, he had a bottle of water on stage. He starts splashing water all over the lip fill speakers on stage, and we're like, "What is he doing?" Like, and this was like rented equipment. This wasn't their tour equipment or anything. This was like, I wonder. Yeah, this would have just been equipment rented from like some audio outfit by Live Nation because it was their show. And fuck, like he was dumping water all over the thing. And I remember going backstage after because people thought like that he was going to be like wild out of his mind after all this because like we thought he was mad or something. But he was completely chill, so calm. It's just part of his show, you know. It was just part of his performance. He just, he just like he knew exactly what he was doing. This was just part of his plan to get more people interested in what he was doing, and you know his music was cool enough. But he really, I think, made a name for himself that night at the Malcolm Bowl in Stanley Park. Like obviously, it was huge for him to be on tour with Snoop Dogg, and I'm pretty sure that's who it was. My memory could be fooling me, but I think he was the opener for Snoop Dogg, and yeah, that was pretty wild. And I remember the meetings, like because I would have to go in and meet with the park board for that overseeing Stanley Park, and there was a guy by the name of Ken. I forget what his name was. It doesn't matter. But I really liked him, and I remember there was so many people didn't want that kind of music in the park, is what it was. They didn't want rap music down there because, oh, it's Stanley Park, and you know, and they don't care about country music or anything else, but the rap music. So I don't know, maybe there's some that was like kind of the old guard and maybe some racism or whatever mixed in there. Maybe not, but who knows? Competing cultures. What up, Marin? But yeah, there's my Snoop Dogg story. Also had some K-pop events down there that you wouldn't believe it, but you would think that like country music crowds and rap crowds and like those rock and roll crowds would drink more beer than K-pop crowds. Never was beer drinking more in the history of what I've seen down there in Stanley Park than at that K-pop event. I forget who the K-pop stars were, but yeah, Cosmic Origin Theater Under the Stars is a great organization. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful company, and they do a great thing. Yeah, 100%. Travis, I'm afraid to die. What about you? I'm not afraid to die. I think I was talking to this last night with someone in the Discord server. And by the way, you guys join our Discord server if you want to have a place, have a community that you can go to have interesting conversations about life, anything really. We talk about life, games, sports, philosophy, science. There's the link right there. But I think I've gotten to a point, it seems like to me that when I got to a certain point where I felt like I had done some good with regards to satisfying my moral quest, which is to maximize well-being for myself and those around me. And I like to spread that those around me part as far as I can through some educational content I've produced throughout the years and helping people through my philosophical coaching program and a lot of different things I've tried to do that I think has worked to maximize well-being for myself and those around me, satisfy my moral quest. I feel like I'm at a point that I'm not afraid to die. I feel very satisfied with the life I've lived, and everything from this point is just a cherry on top. And hopefully I have a lot more life to live, and that would be great. But I'm very much satisfied with the life I've lived to this point. I did talk last night a little bit about, well, my wife and I are gonna start having kids here soon, and I do think about, I do feel a little bit of fear in that what will happen in the minds of my children when I die. I kind of fear for them with regards to that, but it's not a very surface level fear. It's a very deep kind of fear that I'm still kind of exploring. But with regards to my own death and myself within my experience, I feel very happy with my life. Who is hotter, J-Lo or Shakira? They both aren't my type, man. They both just aren't my type. But I guess I'll. Well, I saw a video of Shakira recently, and I was like, "Damn." So maybe Shakira. Yeah, and I agree. Who just said this? Infidel just said, if you can't do it live, you shouldn't be doing it. I don't think if you can't do it live, you shouldn't be doing it, but I appreciate more at a much higher level the thinkers who can just turn their camera on and interact with their audience and engage in Q&As and just share their ideas on the fly. They don't need the special production. They don't need all this, all the jazz. They're just ready to go. They don't need to sit down and prep hardcore for the topic. They can just get at it. Daring to be wrong publicly. What up, Mace? Mace says, who is hotter, Travis Pangburn or Jordan Peterson? What about Travis Peterson? You woke moralists? Well, you you have this ideal, and it's Christ at the top of it, and the pinnacle. Travis Peterson. Shazam says, what are your thoughts about Candace Owens firing from Daily Wire? Well, Candace Owens, her and I, disagree on so many things, right? She sees things through a religious lens. She has a very stringent, strict idea of what a woman should be, or what all women should be doing. She's got, she's a traditionalist, and I don't think she's evil or anything. I don't hate Candace Owens, but her and I probably disagree on most things. I think she was good for Daily Wire to show a bit of diversity. Obviously she felt differently about the Israel-Palestine conflict than Shapiro and other people. I don't know if that's the reason she was cut. I'm not authority on there. I'm not an authority at all on that topic between the organization and her, or Shapiro and her. So I don't know, but sometimes people get fired for all kinds of reasons, and I just think if she was fired for reasons of ideological differences, and not dialectical differences, like it looks like, the thing I heard from X, I think it was Don Lemon or whoever it was that got fired from X by Elon Musk. I think that was for dialectical differences, and maybe there's some more. There's some more there. I'm not someone who keeps up too much with the drama between individuals. In fact, I don't really allude. If you look at the channel, I kind of try to make Pangburn timeless beyond that kind of crap. So yeah, I don't really. I'm more interested in the ideas than I am any interpersonal conflicts. But yeah, my thoughts on that are just like, if Daily Wire is, I don't know what Daily Wire is trying to be. If Daily Wire is, an organization that is looking to promote traditional Christian or Jewish ideas, then they seem to be doing a good job at that. But if they're trying to be like a place that's like known for their freedom of speech and giving platforms to everyone and things like that, maybe they're starting to trend that way. Like, I like that Ben brought on Destiny to have a conversation there. I thought that was cool. So yeah, I mean, if they're going to be doing more conversations like that, I think that's a good thing. But yeah, with regards to Candace Owens, I don't know. It's hard to know. Here's one thing I'll say about business is that if you look at a business and you hear some things in the news, or you hear some things said by some people, some speaking vaguely about an issue, you really don't know much at all about what's going on. So it's good to think fallibilistically about your own opinions about these things, because there's a lot of things you don't get to know. GSP says Candace is hot. I think she's a beautiful lady. Not my type. May says, Travis Peterson, is that your kid? Oh my God! Spread the rumor. Jordan Peterson and I have a child. Men can get pregnant. Can you do a Sam Harris impression? Okay, I'll try my best. Welcome to the Waking Up Podcast. This is Sam Harris. Okay. Just a little housekeeping. Off the top of my head, that's the best I can do, I think. Am I still on a quest to destroy circumcision? Well, yeah, infant genital mutilation, circumcision, yes. Circumcision, I'm fine with, consenting adults doing this. But yeah, don't genitally mutilate infants, please. If you want to learn more about this issue, go to doctorsopposingcircumcision.org. They do a really good diagnosis of the issue. What about kid castration for sex changes? In almost all cases, I am against any kind of unnecessary, irreversible surgery to any person that cannot give willing, informed consent to, which means children. There might be some edge cases, and I've heard some of them where I came away convinced that all other potential options had been exhausted. But I should tell you that I've only seen a small, maybe a few cases in the history of this issue that I've been convinced that, and again, I don't have access to all the details, right? The medical personnel who approve this and go through with this do, but I don't. But yeah, in general, I think this should be avoided at all costs and should be an absolute last resort if they have good reason to believe that this would cause a positive attribution to the well-being of the child. And has there ever been such case where that has been demonstrated? I don't know. I'm not an authority on that topic, and I don't know it well enough. But for me, if they are causing a detriment to the well-being of the child with any kind of surgery, this is so wrong and so bad and so against medical ethics that I would have the same issues and feel strongly as I do about ending infant circumcision or genital mutilation. But for anyone that knows me, I am a fallibilist. I am open to being corrected. I'm open to being wrong about anything. This includes the logical absolutes, by the way. What's your type? Highly intelligent women with sex appeal. My wife is my type. Mexican. Yeah, my wife is Mexican. She is my type. Is she my type because she's Mexican? No. She's highly intelligent and is just incredibly sexy. No, and there's a lot of things that go into that, right? When you find someone to marry, you have similar goals in life. You want to have her and I want to have lots of children, and I know it's hard to describe, but we just are deeply, deeply, deeply in love with each other, and it's just I feel so lucky, just so lucky. Yeah, anyone, infidel says, I know how ridiculous this sounds, but you should hear my circumcision story. Seriously. Yeah, drop in Discord. I've heard hundreds of circumcision stories. Feel free to drop in anytime. I'm not sure that's what Matt would say. He might, he might disagree with me on that. I don't think he would call me a transphobe. But I would suggest that Matt would agree that, you know, these surgeries should never be done unless we have good reason to believe that it would benefit the patient, right? You know, mental health wise and physically. So these things need to be taken into consideration if we're going to be doing anything like that. And I think Matt would agree with that. And then I would assume he would probably be much better educated than I am on particular cases where, of course, it did, you know, he probably did work out. You know, but I bet he would agree that it's not without risk, like many other irreversible surgeries, right? Travis Statham says, "Is it true that Travis is the best name?" Well, according to me and some other people in chat here, I think so. Big butts, he means. Oh. Give me 2 seconds here. Let me just check something. Oh, sweet. Yeah, and if anyone's interested in having their own Pangburn Universe YouTube channel, like if you want to be a YouTuber and you want to kind of do something that's related to intellectualism and the things that we do at Pangburn, get in touch with me on Discord. That's the best way to kind of get immersed into the Pangburn community, is to start having conversations with us on Discord. And eventually we can work you towards having your own franchised Pangburn YouTube channel. And what happens with that is that your content gets shared throughout the Pangburn universe, which is what we call all of our various online accounts and, you know, the main YouTube channel and things like that. So it's a good way to fast track your way to monetization. And then in the end, we end up splitting the revenue from monetization. And there's different things in the franchise contracts that allow you to buy the channel eventually, or for Pangburn to purchase the channel off you or whatever. So yeah, peace out, GSP. Thanks for being here. Name the 3 worst religions. Oh, the 3 worst religions. Islam, Christianity, and I guess Judaism. Abrahamic. Yeah, there's just a lot to despise, I think, in those religions. I think the most dangerous religion today is Islam. Yeah, it just happens to be, you know, the religion that is causing the most depravity in the world. Yes, I mean, there are other religions out there that have just not had the negative impact that other religions have had. Sorry, Shazam, I missed your question. Let's see. Oh, what are your thoughts about Destiny? I think Steven, like, I've noticed, I've watched clips from his stuff. People send me clips of his stuff all the time, and I give my reactions to them as much as I can. And I really like his work in the past, let's say 6 to 8 months. I think he's grown a lot. I had him on the podcast about 8 months ago, I think it was, maybe, yeah, about that. And I thought he was absent just completely disconnected from the conversation. Just seemed like he, and maybe it could have been like me. I don't know if he was expecting like something from me differently or whatever, but it just was I've called it my worst podcast ever. But since around that time, kind of after that happened, I kept kind of keeping up with what he was doing, and I thought he had some great conversations. I really liked his conversation with Ben Shapiro. I just really like the stuff he's doing right now, and he's just become this powerhouse. I think he can slow down a bit. It's not. It shouldn't be about like wisdom is not a race, and wisdom should be the goal here in these conversations. But I think he, I have some critiques for him, but I really like how he is genuinely throwing himself sincerely into his conversations now and giving them his full attention. I think when he gives conversations his full attention, he is dynamite, and he is going to be one of the greats. I really believe that. He is going to do things for intellectual discourse, coming from this kind of like debate bro culture into what I would consider to be a more legitimate intellectual discourse and political commentary culture. I could see him having his own fucking TV show on mainstream television one day, which he might not need to, right? Like, but for the love of Christ, please get Stephen Bonnell on CNN leading the political discourse. We need to up the ante on the quality of intellectual discourse that happens on mainstream television. Or mainstream television can just die and everyone will watch YouTube, whatever. But yeah, and look, I like seeing programs like Piers Morgan inviting Alex O'Connor on and these young guns up and coming that I think are going to be the big, these guys are going to have such a big impact. Like the way their channels are growing, the way their following is growing. I think they're just going to be so impactful, and I like the dialectical skills that are on display. It's good faith, and for the most part, especially in the last 8 months for Stephen Bonnell Destiny, it's been helpful. He's been helpful in his discussions. I haven't reacted or watched Stephen and Jordan Peterson have a conversation yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I've heard it's quite thrilling, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. And let's see if good faith and helpfulness prevails between those two. Who's worse, Muhammad or Hitler? I'm gonna have to give that one to Hitler. Yeah, I don't know if I care to elaborate on that because of YouTube's strict policies around the N-word. No, I prefer Destiny's Child. What's your body count? 1 billion? 1 million. Fox would die without a simple-minded audience. That's what Locked on Law says. Yeah, I'm really not familiar with what Fox does these days. You bet, Shazam. What's your opinion about Douglas Murray's immigration positions? Well, I've gotten to know them quite well at this point, and I think Douglas is right that immigration shouldn't just be viewed as this like free lunch. That's the way Eric Weinstein described it at the conference I produced featuring Eric and Douglas and others in Australia. It's not a immigration is not necessarily a free lunch. It's not like every immigrant you bring in is going to be there for going to be coming in for good reasons, and there needs to be caution in immigration. And anyone who's anti-caution of immigration should not be put in charge of overseeing immigration policy. So I agree with Douglas a lot on many things relating to Islam, relating to immigration. Douglas himself says he's not anti-immigration. He loves immigration. He's just in favor of caution when it comes to immigration. And I think that is a good idea to promote. A lot of people, when I say that, because they view me as a more like progressive liberal type, I guess, which I don't think I fit into many of those boxes. But they would consider my view on immigration to be very very conservative, or my views on war or how to react to acts of terrorism. They see me as very conservative on those issues. And a lot of people see Douglas the same way on those issues because he is he's pretty hard-nosed and hard-handed about how you deal with those motherfuckers who just target innocent people to cause fear with their depravity, moral depravity. Yeah. And and part of the big issue with immigration is immigration should come with education. So any immigrant coming into a country should be given the proper education about the country, about the country's laws, the key differences. And this is, immigration policies need to include a good amount of giving the immigrant a good amount of understanding of where they are coming from and where the conflicts and governance, where the governance is going to come into conflict with what they're used to. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a real shame that people look at people like Douglas Murray and think that he's some kind of evil, anti-immigrant, pro-white, like anti-ethnic, like that he's some kind of white supremacist or something like that. Like I think people are very reading into him what they want to read into him when they hear Douglas talk about things like that. And I think he's great. And I mean, personally, Douglas is one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with, from a business perspective, and also personally, just like a guy to be able to sit down and have a conversation with at the bar after an event, like just a very kind-hearted person. But it's amazing what media spin can do to make people believe that he is something that he is not. And I just want to help educate people to be wise to that, to be wise to the fact that when they see a 30-second clip of a man on the television, there might be more to learn about that person before you make any large sweeping statements about their overall character. Chuck Schneider says, your thoughts on canceling Candace Owens from all white men on Daily Wire? I don't even know what that means. Can you clarify that? Like, did she say she wants to cancel all white men on Daily Wire, or what was that? I don't get that. Oh, I need to go back to get a deep tissue massage. For anyone out there that works from an office like 16 to 18 hours a day, do you get really bad fucking shoulder and back problems? I have really bad posture, and that can be hell for me. Oh, I usually go find a tennis ball and I put it under my back, and I find that spot and I just lean on it and it feels so fucking good. HK. Yeah, you come here, $5. Happy ending. Yeah. This is my new Canucks hat, by the way. I splurged. It cost me $40. Oh. But yeah, people should be more sincerely interested in having good conversations and being helpful throughout the course of those conversations. That's what I want to see in the world. And that's what you'll get if you join the Pangburn Discord server. If you lack community in your life, this is where you can find it, and you can access it digitally. We all turn on our cameras at night. Some people smoke a little something. Some people have a drink with them, a little wine. And, we talk about ideas. We talk about life. And it's a really good time. It might take you a while to get used to, because a lot of people, when they engage on the internet, they're not used to good faith and helpfulness. They think that people are doing that to try and sell you something, or they're doing that to try and I don't know, because they have an ulterior motive. But on the Pangburn Discord server, it's literally just about that. You can come and go as you please. You can start conversations in any of our voice channels, VCs. And we also have the Pangburn Library, which is this library of different topics that you can engage in, and it's all text-based, so you can engage in those as well. HK says, you ever wear a bra? I don't think I've ever, or I think back in my theater days for some stand-up improvisational theater, I think I had a bra on once. Penguin Discord sounds like a bunch of douchebags. No, you should have said Penguin Discord sounds like a bunch of, but then you should have tied douchebag in with something to do with penguins. Try a rewrite of that. Then I'll perform it again. HK says his rectum or their rectum hurts. Okay. Don't tell me, tell your doctor. Because I'm probably just going to make a joke about it, and about cancer or something like that. Love you too, Shazam. What up, Asok? Welcome. Looks like a few of you have just signed up for the Discord. That's cool. Welcome, welcome. There's a really good text conversation happening in the religion text box today about Jordan Peterson. Some fiery discourse. But I am going to say so long for now. I am going to do this more often. It's going to kind of be a daily thing. I hope you guys come back and join me. This is one way for me to create new content for the channel. My assistant Felicia will chop these into YouTube shorts and add music and whatever. Yeah, I really appreciate your guys' questions, and you're all beautiful, and never hesitate to reach out on the Pangburn Discord server. It's the best way to get a hold of me, or send me an email if you need help with anything. And yeah, I love you all, and I'm really looking forward to our next event on June 1st in New York City. Alex O'Connor versus Dinesh D'Souza. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be those two on stage, nothing in between. And, it's all going to be filmed and released here on Pangburn. So I hope you guys are pumped for that. The live stream will be freely available for everyone. And that's kind of my new mandate moving forward. So love you all. Thanks so much. And let art and science inspire.